So, happy Easter to you. It is Easter Sunday, and in New Orleans, it's typically when we bring out our seersucker suits and white linen suits because it is already rather in the 80 degrees and up temperatures here. So this is a little more of a comfortable type of suit to wear in that weather. So even though I am dressed in my Sunday's finest, there's nowhere really that I can go during our global pandemic as we're all quarantining still. So we can still dress well, look well, and continue with living civilized lives at the very least now and again. So I did cook some fantastic crawfish and shrimp etouffee last night. So as a little Easter gift from me to you, here's the recipe. Welcome to Knowledge-Gent. Let the good times roll. So today we're going to be making shrimp and crawfish etouffee. So we're going to start with cooking our rice. We need 2 cups of rice. I'm going to use brown rice mixed with wild rice this time. It gives a little extra vitamins and flavor. So we need to rinse our rice off. So I pour it into a nice sieve so that we can wash it off and rinse it. So after I rinse it off in the sink, I like to always also rinse it off with a little filtered water because New Orleans water is always a little more interesting than we like. Now, after rinsing the rice off, I'm going to put it inside of the Instapot, which is a great cooking tool that speeds things up. And for cooking brown rice with the wild rice, we want to add, for 2 cups, we want to add 2.5 times the liquid. I'm going to be using chicken stock here. You can also use water, but I like to do a little chicken or beef stock. So now we pour in the chicken broth. So after you pour in the broth, it's always good to mix the rice and broth around a little bit just so we don't have any rice sticking up above everything. All right, now we just pop the lid on, set it for 22 minutes, set it and forget it. The Instapot makes it easy. So that is where we're done with the rice for now. We'll move on to the actual etouffee now. So we start our etouffee with the holy trinity, which is onions, green peppers, celery, and of course we always have some garlic in there. So we'll start with our celery. Next up will be the onion. And here's a red onion. I like to use a combination of a sweet Vidalia onion and a red onion often. It's good to have a little mix of white onion, Vidalia onion, or Vidalia onion and a red onion, just to have a little extra flavor in there with the different onion types. Next up we have our bell pepper. Here's some flat leaf parsley that we'll add at the end of the cooking process. Next up will be the garlic. So I like to use the entire bulb of garlic with my etouffee, but if you're not as big of a garlic fan as I am, you can just use a couple of cloves and that should be enough to give it the desired flavor. But if you're a garlic fanatic like me, use the entire bulb and not just the cloves. So, here are our vegetables of the Holy Trinity. And I also like to add in a little jalapeno pepper, but there was no availability of jalapeno peppers at the grocery today, as we're still in the midst of the global pandemic, so that has made some things harder to find. Now, you want to add in 1 stick of unsalted butter, and we're going to melt that down and saute these vegetables until they are translucent. And if you kind of break the butter into pieces, it will help it melt a little bit faster than if you keep it in the one big chunk. Okay, our vegetables are starting to get translucent here. I'm going to turn the heat down to low now. So we want to add a jar or a can of Italian peeled tomatoes and our spices, but before we do that, we're going to add in 1 tablespoon of flour. Now, a lot of etouffee recipes start with making a roux. This is a very quick version of that. We're going to make a very quick roux to thicken up the sauce a little bit here. So it might not be the old, hard, tried and true method of doing a true roux, but it still makes a delicious etouffee. If you want to make a true roux, then you certainly can find lots of other recipes and techniques for doing that as well, but keep this recipe for those times when you want to make it a little bit quicker. I'm going to turn the heat up to medium for a little bit to really help get this flour fully distributed. And it will make a very quick version of a roux on its own, doing it like this. Which that might not quite give it the depth of flavor that some folks like for their roux to have. And a lot of people also like to use chicken stock in their etouffee, so that's another variant that can add some different flavors. Okay, so you see I got a little light tan color down the bottom of the pan here, so that's about the point that I want to get it to before I add in the other ingredients here. So the can or jar of the Italian peeled tomatoes. Many etouffee recipes do not have tomatoes in them. And then a tablespoon of paprika, which it's about a tablespoon left in here, so we'll just put that all in there. And then we're also going to add in cayenne pepper, salt, freshly ground black pepper, and Italian herbs and seasonings. Here's the pepper. Italian herbs. And I like to throw a little Tony Satchers in there too, which that's already got some cayenne pepper in there. And also a little Tabasco sauce, to get a little Tabasco sauce pepper in there. That also is another extra layer of flavor, depending how spicy you like it. And I also like to do a little garlic powder for a little more garlic flavor. And a little more onion powder for a little more onion flavor depth in there as well. I'm going to bring the temperature back up to medium for just a bit to get all of this heated up again. Okay, I've gotten this back up to a simmer. I'm going to now cover it, and then we're going to let this simmer on low for 10 minutes. Okay, that was 10 minutes. Let's check it out. That looks very nice. The sauce is reduced down quite decently. Now it's time to add in our seafood. So, Louisiana crawfish tails. Don't use that Chinese stuff or other imported stuff. Always make sure to use Louisiana. It's much better. The quality is no comparison to that Chinese stuff. Unfortunately, we do even have restaurants in the city of New Orleans that do use the Chinese stuff. They did pass a new law where they're supposed to post the origin of their crawfish and other seafood. So make sure to always ask where your seafood comes from, because it is important to support our local fishers and the local economy. Shrimp. So 1 pound of shrimp and 1 pound of crawfish tails. Now we stir all of this in, and we're going to cook all of this until the shrimp turn pink. Turn the heat up to medium. These are some really big crawfish tails too. They look very nice. Now, I know some people don't like seafood. You can also do this dish with chicken. You could do it totally vegetarian if you wanted to. You could add mushrooms. This is just a really good base to add other proteins to the etouffee. Oh, this is looking beautiful. So see how the shrimp now are curling up. Okay, so there's the one last secret ingredient to add to really bling it up to the maximum for flavor. I hope you didn't forget we have our Italian flat parsley. Usually about 2 cups is enough. And that just really adds a big dash of green color in there and some decent little flavor accents as well. So that parsley really makes it look pretty now. Okay, now I'm going to turn the burner totally off, and we're just going to let it sit for a little while and let all these flavors have a little time to meld and mix together more. And then it'll be time to eat. You could also throw a few bay leaves in here. That also gives it a nice little extra. Okay, so we're gonna let it cool down a little bit, then plate it up, and we'll be trying this out soon. All right, let's plate up some food. So the rice turned out pretty nicely there. Oh, here we go. Time for the etouffee to be added to the rice. Look at that. Ooh. That is a beautiful bowl of crawfish and shrimp etouffee. Little shrimp and crawfish. Fantastic. Very good flavors. Well, I hope you enjoyed the etouffee recipe. Now let's get back to Easter Sunday. So, in New Orleans and most of the rest of the South and a lot of the rest of the world, Easter Sunday involves a giving of treats in the morning. The children typically get a basket full of boiled eggs that are colored in various colors, along with a great deal of candy. So, in New Orleans and in the southern states not too far away from New Orleans, we have some candy that I didn't know only we got. Gold brick eggs! Delicious milk chocolate with nuts. Oh, and don't think they don't have yet more. They've got dark chocolate versions of the gold brick eggs too. And they even have gold brick bunnies. So all your chocolate needs. Louisiana candy maker Elmer's is ready to go with delicious chocolates. But the Elmer's candies are made in Louisiana. So they seem to just have limited distribution and a lot of states don't get them. I never knew that. So that's a more recent thing I learned about when some of my family moved to the Yankee lands and they no longer are able to get these. So definitely this is one of our unique culinary treats. I would say my one disappointment is they do have hydrogenated oils in them. I would prefer not to have hydrogenated oil in my candy. So, but other than that, they do taste great. So they come in these nice little packets. Flat on one side, curved on the other. So it's more of a half egg, really. Some delicious nuts in there. So, dark chocolate nuts, perfect flavor combination. I only wish they would leave the hydrogenated oil out of it. But once a year for Easter, I'm not too worried about it. So happy Easter to everyone out there. And hey y'all, don't forget to start by biting the ears off the bunny first. If you would like to follow me on Yelp, I have thousands of pictures and reviews on there. You can also follow me on Instagram for more photos. And please like this video and subscribe to the NOLA Junk channel. We would also love it if you would help us out on Patreon and help the channel continue to have more content produced. Thank you very much.